Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and bees, and those who have yet to decide. We are the Lost Caravan, where we play one shots. We do miniseries, long running campaigns. If it's TTRPG, we're here to do it all. And tonight, we are running Good Strong Hands by Nerdburger, where all of our friends get to be these fantastical creatures in this world of Wonderland that is slowly being taken over by the darkness. Um, Before I introduce you to the wonderful cast, um, we have a few announcements. Uh, we have two sponsors, Hero Forge, which I'm not in chat, so I'm not going to post the link. But it's where you can make customized minis and have them sent straight to your door. You could use our link and it helps support us. And our second one, oh, thank you, Hoop, is the Epidemic Sound, which is where we play all of our amazing eclectic music where you can put in the most odd thing and it'll give you exactly what you're looking for. Um, I'm sure we have games coming up, but I don't have the schedule. Um, so March, yeah,
Uh,
because March is
there
coming up,
is.
and our
Ooh,
our
we have uh Professor
we have
Kenny's
D&D, we have
5E
Tales from the
on
Loop.
March 7th, and uh
I'm
Icon
running
on March
ICRPG on the
1st, and
If
27th.
you
that's what
if
I
you guys
know.
join our Discord, our casting call for March just went up, and then we'll have a more finalized schedule of what is going on. So before we get into tonight's episode and the deepening of the void, why don't we have our players introduce themselves? Tell us who you are and who and what you're playing. And let's start with Jason.
Under the boss first thing, look at you. I'm Jason, also known on Twitter as Jason or Graphical Ronin. I'm an illustrator slash graphic designer who loves to play TTRPGs. I'm playing Jack, a human boy who woke up in the Reverie, unsure as to how he has arrived there.
Speaking of not knowing how they arrived, let's move over to JT.
Hi, I'm JT. You can find me on Twitter at Weebjeet. My pronouns are they, them. Tonight, I'm playing Moss, who is a stonekin, who is a animated stone. Doesn't know how they woke up. Just a big guy, just a big old dude. Uh, that's me, Moss.
Then let's move over to our other big old dude and introduce Lonnie.
Hello. It is me, Looney, or Lonnie or Looney Shaws, not Looney or Lonnie Shaws. Interesting. I am playing
Started off right.
Pip. Or yeah, no, totally remember my name and all the usernames. Fantastic start. I am Lonnie or Looney Shaws. I am playing Pip the Woodkin, which is basically the equivalent of an ent or a tree that, grew for a certain amount of time and then basically woke up. So I am now basically a redwood tree that is probably like 30, 40 feet tall and is kind of the home to all of our adventurers for the evening, which will be very, very fun because also, funnily enough, for Good Strong Hand specifically, that is a fashion statement. That is literally like, ooh, the more popular that you are, the more appealing you are to the common adventurer. So I have a few adventurers just kind of clinging to my branches in the little hovels. So I'm pretty excited. So here we go.
And I am Dido. You can find me at Twitter, Dido11, and I will be their guide through this vast place of Reverie. Our players have started off. They've been journeying through days through. Why do I not have the map up? Through the forest of dreaming, and you've just crested the other side of the Ash Mountains, toward the forest of flames. Pip has told you all that they haven't heard from a friend in a while, and is concerned, and they're from the forest of flames. You all know that every 100 years, the forest of flame, which is so aptly named for its red and orange foliage, dies. One of the folk that live in the forest is tasked with taking the final red leaf that falls and throwing it into the chasm at the top of the Ash Mountain. And from that chasm flies a phoenix that then settles into the forest and renews it for the following century. As you guys start to approach what was once this happy, joyous, filled place, full of all kinds of folk, now looks to be empty. And you can see several other tiny folk are fleeing. Jack, what does the forest look like now that it's dead?
We're leaving the forest, right?
You're like right at the edge of the tree line of the forest of flame.
The forest of flame. I want to say without the leaves on the tree, they almost look like burnt up sticks. Like the bark gets steadily darker and blacker as it gets to the top, and then they get stretched out. So it would look a lot like something out of Nightmare Before Christmas.
Moss, what is one of the most prominent features that you can see with the leaves all gone?
Probably note that the sky above the forest of flames is darker than it should be. If it's daytime, not a lot of light gets through, and at night there's absolutely none covering up the sky and the stars with whatever cloud seems to have overtaken the forest.
Pip, what does the forest smell like, being one of a forest?
I think Pip has grown very accustomed to almost kind of like the idea of how you don't really know, like when you walk into your own room, you don't really know fully the scent of what your room smells like. Like you don't really realize that your room has a certain smell to it. All of a sudden it has this very sad, almost like moldy smell to it, where you're just like a little taken aback, where like you're fully aware of like, okay, every once in a while there can be these negative weird smells where you just know that something's wrong when you just walk into it on a day where maybe something has happened and there's been a lot of rainfall. But this feels different. This feels like that permanent, like musty smell that you kind of hope won't stick around, but every day you keep coming back and you're just sitting there and you're saying, oh, it still smells like that. So
Yeah, so what all of you smell is kind of like, I don't know if any of you have ever went camping and it's rained and you've got these wet clothes and there's really no way to dry them. That's kind of what it smells like, is after these clothes have been sitting for a couple of days. It's got that like moldy, musty kind of smell to it. Not something that's too over pungent, but just enough to be like, I'm not wearing that.
Kind of like a sour note, like when you forgot to change your laundry over and it sat in the washer too long.
That too, yeah. You guys walk into the forest about 5 or 10 feet. And Jack, you see something just beyond your line of vision. What do you see?
A large rabbit. Like a person-sized rabbit. You just see the back end of it dart behind one of the trunks of the trees. Oh, that's a big
Do
one.
you
Pip.
tell
See
any?
it? Did you see that rabbit?
It,
It had a butt the size of one of Moss's hands.
so that's a big rabbit compared to a smaller one. Okay, I'm starting to recognize the difference between the normal sized ones and that one is definitely.
It's as big as me,
Oh,
Pip.
okay. It is. Like she'll like kind of look at you up and down for a second and be like, "You're right."
I thought you said it was a big rabbit.
Hey, I'm big.
No, you're not.
One of my
I could
lower
take that rabbit.
one of my lower branches will kind of just reach out and like kind of pat you on the head and be like, "Of course you are."
Should we chase it, Pip? Do you think it's a talking rabbit?
Well, I can certainly try talking to it if you'd like me to, but it's a little bit in the distance.
Why
Right?
don't we have our first roll of the night? And
Oh.
Pip, why don't you give me a mind check to see if you also saw this check?
Yes. I'm realizing
D60?
that I did not prepare my dice, so
Just
I
realized that
will.
myself.
Okay.
We're gonna
a
say
fo-
that.
I rolled a 4 and a 6.
Okay, so
Um,
that's the target number was a 4.
perfect. So I rolled. What if I roll a 4 specifically? Does that count as a hit, or does it have to be above?
It's if the target number is 4, meets it, beats it.
Okay, so then
The
I
law
rolled
of
2
all
hits.
RPGs.
So what you're gonna need, so you saw the rabbit. I'm getting to the part that I need to get to. You also get a boon, but because you got 2 hits, I need you to mark 1 on your shadow track. As to see this rabbit, you kind of have to part the void a little bit to get a clear look. But you did see this rabbit, and it was the size of Pip. And to you, it's still pretty small.
Size
and
of Pip or the size of Jack?
it was Jack. It was the size of Jack.
I was gonna say Pip is probably the biggest of the group, so
Pip's
if the size of Pip,
Jack.
I'd be a little concerned.
Oh, he's a big fella.
Okay. Ooh, okay.
And you seen it running farther into the woods. But what you also see that Jack missed is that it's being followed by a couple of skeletons and a snake.
I think as soon as Pip realizes that it's being followed by other things, she almost tries to hide that from Jack, and instead of like noting that, she says, "Oh, I guess you're right. It is about the size of you. Wow, that's quite an astonishing rabbit." And almost kind of is Jack kind of more so closer to the bottom of Pip's trunk, or like kind of higher up in the branches?
He's higher up in one of the branches.
Sure.
A
The
little
second.
hammock made out of woven leaves and stuff.
Okay. Because of that, she'll almost kind of like use the branches a little bit more like defensively, like almost kind of like just rearranging, like not specifically like furling them in to like block Jack, but at the same time a little bit almost like just readjusting them so they're blocking Jack a little bit more, just realizing there's a rabbit the same size as Jack that's being pursued.
Pip, you also feel just a gentle breeze on the air, very reminiscent of birds that would come to bring the messages from Hardy. But when you look around, there are no birds. There's nothing flying in the sky. It's too dark. But it kind of wraps around you and envelops you a little bit.
I think the breeze would almost initially feel nice in like all of the branches of Pip's kind of like the leaves and all of her higher extremities. But after feeling kind of like the sense of almost like the cautiousness that this breeze entails, she'd almost again kind of refurrow her branches to ensure that all of her party mates are safe. I think Moss kind of frequents closer to the bottom of the trunk of
Moss doesn't Moss thinks that he's too big to ride in the branches, so he walks next to like your base.
One of the lower branches that Pip has will still almost like seemingly be in front of where you're walking, but obviously it's not able to perfectly kind of envelop the area that you're in. Just kind of is almost just like if you're walking here, it's just kind of like in front of you, just like vaguely blocking. But
Hey, I can't see past your branch there, Pip, if you could move that right the way up.
Pip will have her mouth and eyes kind of appear close to that part of where the branches are appearing closer to the bottom of her trunk, and just be like, oh, so sorry, and will not actually move where the branches are, but it's just apologizing for the fact that it's in your way.
Come on, Pip, I
Alright, so
can't see the bunny.
You said sorry as though you intended to move them, but you ain't moved them yet, Pip.
I'm sorry.
Hang on, Moss, I'm coming down. I start shimmying
Come on down.
and, and as Jack is traveling down, like he'll just keep realizing whenever he kind of like peeks out to look ahead of him, there's like a branches blocking his way, because Pip is very, very protective. So she's
Pip, why are
just
you
kind
so
of
fluffy today?
adjusting, like, well, I listen.
Not that windy, your branches is all over the place.
You know, it's not every day that you see a rabbit as big as a human. I'm not gonna lie, I'm so sorry, but...
Yeah, but I didn't get a look at it because your branches, they's in the way.
Always huge, Moss.
Well, you're
Can't fight
welcome
him.
for that, for protecting you from the view of this enormously large rabbit.
Oh, I see what's going on here. I understand. I do.
What's going on? What's
You want another patch of moss put onto your branches?
Well, I suppose if you wouldn't mind, but at the same time, that's not exactly what I was asking about.
Moss will reach up to their arm and pull off a small patch of moss. As quickly as it comes off, the moss grows back over and he sets it down on Pip's branch. All right, there you go. You can move those right out the way now.
Like, you know that feeling when you drink like a nice cup of tea and like you're just like your entire body kind of just like spreads out with that like nice warm feeling, but it's literally just that like one branch that just like feels really nice and warm for a second and you're like, wow. At the same time, like Pip is just kind of like, yeah. Thank you, Moss. And she kind of just pretends that she's totally okay. And now like totally like all of her fears are calmed. But you know, like if you know her long enough, you know that she's still just like, oh yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's exactly what I was looking for. But still like very anxiety filled in the rest of like the trunk and upper extremities.
Are you
gonna
guys gonna follow the rabbit?
Yeah,
You
Jack's
want
already
to?
on the ground and running towards where he saw the rabbit.
Oh, there he goes.
Oh,
That so quick, that one. Oh, Jack,
Jack
oh.
be nimble, Jack be quick.
Jack, you want to wait up a bit?
And
I'm
after
a big...
Get back
it
here, bunny.
doesn't-
We can be friends.
There he goes.
Once Jack starts running after it, like Pip does that awkward thing where like obviously she can like catch up and pass Jack because of like her long strides, but she's like trying to like with her very long like tree limb legs trying to just like awkwardly just keep behind Jack. So like basically if she could just do like really long strides, she'll just be doing like really awkward like short quick strides of just being like
Boss is trying to keep up.
Come on, Pip. You're never gonna catch up to the rabbit like that.
I'm so... We could follow the rabbit at a leisurely pace, I feel. You ain't going nowhere.
Pip will kind of like speed up for a second, and after like 3 strides, she'll be way ahead of all of you because she's a very tall tree. And then she'll realize that she moved too fast, too quickly, and then slow down again.
So, are you guys trying to keep up with this rabbit quickly, or just at a leisurely pace?
Jack's running at Jack's top speed, which is like a glacial pace compared to these two giants sitting around.
Then why don't we have everybody make me a body check to see if
Oh
Let's-
boy.
Alright, so
let's
3,
make the
6.
target number 5 because it's a rabbit.
That's gonna be 2 successes for me. I rolled a 5, a 6, a 2, and a 3.
I rolled a 5 and a 6.
I rolled a 6 and a 2, so I think that's only 1 success for me.
I had a
Okay.
2 as well. 5, a 6, and a 2.
Pip is you can mark 1 spirit.
Okay.
For getting a success. And you're able to keep up with not only are you able to keep up with the rabbit, but you're also able to keep pace with your friends. Jack, I need you to mark 1 shadow.
Okay.
And you will get a boon, which means you will get some extra information. Moss will also have to mark a shadow and will also get some extra information about this
boy.
rabbit. But as you guys are chasing this rabbit, Jack and Moss, this is nothing but a thing. You guys are going through, just chasing this rabbit like natural born hunters. And Jack, you get a whisper in your ear from someone you knew before the accident. Comforting, motherly, you recognize the voice and it's comforting and it makes you want to go toward it. But you don't remember who it is. You just remember what it feels like.
Familiar. Did you hear that, Pip?
Hear what?
I start walking towards the voice, but I'm not running anymore.
And Moss, you feel a connection with the ground under you. And you can feel like the rocks that are under the dirt kind of like calling to you and pushing you in a direction away from the rabbit. Like that's not where your instincts want you to go. Like some other entity wants you somewhere else.
Right then.
But the extra information that the two of you get as you're chasing this rabbit, you realize that you guys are the pursuers. These skeletons and snakes, they're not chasing the rabbit. They're running with the rabbit. Like the rabbit is their leader. As they continue, still just out of range, running into what looks like a village with a large black and white tree.
Hey, Pip, there's skeletons. 2 of them. And a snake.
So, don't look too closely. Hopefully they won't acknowledge us.
Hey
Oh,
guys, I think we
way.
should go this way. Those guys is running from us, the bone boys.
Yeah, I think they're scared.
I can't imagine why. As like Pip is like 15, 20 feet tall and she's like lumbering after them, probably like making more
Because I'm so big
reverberations
and
than
quick.
she's like aware of, but you can't imagine why.
But yeah, I'm getting vibes and whatnot from Father Stone to go this way.
This is the direction he wants to go. Is that where Jack thought he heard the voice from, or did Jack not get like, a good...
It is the general direction that you feel like you heard the voice.
Yeah, I think we should go that way too, Moss. I think I heard somebody. I think I know.
Yeah, it's not often the ground pipes up to me. It's usually just the big boulders. What say you, Pip?
Well, it's one of those things where I can't really get as much of a read for the ground as when I'm sleeping and my roots are kind of extended, but this seems abnormal. I've never seen something like this. But
Oh, that's alright. This ain't your forest, is it? You from here? It might have different stuff from your grove.
Oh, Pip wouldn't come from this forest. This forest smells like dirty socks.
No, yeah, Pip, you do have a fragrance about you, Pip. It's not this.
Pip, I'm not even going to make you roll for this. You've been in contact with Hardy for years. And they've never described the forest as being dead. Like, that's what it looks like. The trees have little ashes on them where like the moss might have been. The trees look very delicate. But he was always saying how the leaves were so red and so orange that it felt like being in a living, breathing fire. Without the heat, of course.
I think after Moss and Jack kind of have that moment of, oh, Pip would never live in a place like this. She almost kind of has this moment of silence where she doesn't really know fully what to say, and just at like a very awkward distance amount of time from when they even mentioned it, like maybe they've even moved on to a different part of their conversation, she says, I don't know this forest, but I don't think it's supposed to smell like this. And she'll say it a little bit more quietly, even if they've moved on to other conversations, they don't even acknowledge her. I feel like she still just says it aloud, but it's just one of those things where it kind of caught her off guard, and she thought about it for a little while, and eventually she was just like, this isn't right.
Well, Jack says where he's from, sometimes, like, once per year, the trees die and lose their leaves, so maybe it's like that.
Now, you guys do, well, Moss and Pip would know. Jack, not so much. That this forest does lose their trees every 100 years. But they regrow them almost instantly in the time that it takes to get from the mountains to the tree line. And you guys have made that trek. And the forest has looked like this ever since then.
I think in Pip's kind of like weird off-timed realization of the fact that this smell is new and strange, she does make a mention of, like, even from what I've heard, even like I've heard tell of this forest for so long, I don't know. And she again kind of makes sure that the two of them seem shielded in some way, even though Moss doesn't really like to acknowledge her as like a home kind of thing, almost kind of just make sure that one of her branches is in the direction almost like right above where Moss is looking, so that if need be it could like swoop down and protect. Just in that like cautious, I've heard tell of this and it doesn't seem right kind of thing.
Jack's poking at the ash on one of the trees, and he's like, I don't know, Moss. I don't think it did this where I was from. He like uses some of the ash to like re-up some of his war paint.
Oh, yeah.
Make me a body check, Jack.
Okay.
We're gonna go with target number 4.
Go ahead and grab me some of that moss while you're up there. I'll add it to my repertoire.
This one you haven't had experience with?
Said body, right?
Yes.
I got a 2, a 3, and a 5.
Okay, so you got one success, so you can mark a spirit on your spirit track. Spirit is how the players can combat any shadow points that they get, or cast some of their spells and do some of their other abilities. You go and take some of the moss off of this tree, and this tree just disintegrates and falls to ash completely at your feet.
Sorry, I broke the tree, Pip.
I don't think
He's
I've
trying
ever
to-
seen a
he's
tree
trying to
do
scoop-
that.
He's trying to scoop it back up. Like trying to make a sandcastle tree out of it.
after a second of Jack almost like kind of like just desperately trying to like scoop out this tree, she's like,
I
Uh,
didn't mean to, Pip. I didn't mean
No,
it.
no. It's okay. I don't. That tree must have been on its way out anyway. I've never really seen trees act like that. Her her upper branches kind of almost just like shake a little bit, but almost kind of just like in like that like mind clearing way of like oh, but from the ground I feel like Jack probably doesn't even see that, and it's just like don't it's okay, it's okay. Weird part of the forest. um and kind of just keeps going towards where they were heading.
Where are you heading? Are you still following the rabbit? Are you following?
I think Moss is probably going towards the wherever the stones are pointing.
Yeah, Jack's heading that way because the voice was that way, and Moss is heading that way.
Yeah.
So you guys leave this this little village, and as you pass through the village, you lose sight of the rabbit and the skeletons and the snake. But you see like little hovels, and what look to be like remnants of the wildkin that lived there. But there's nobody there anymore. It looks like it's been abandoned for weeks, months maybe. But as you follow the feeling of the ground and the voices, it takes you a little bit of walking, but you come upon a swamp. In this swamp, you start to hear a voice that you can't make out. Like you can hear the sound of a voice, but it's too far away for you to make out what is being said. All of you hear it.
Jack, I think I hear that voice you were talking about just a minute ago.
Wait, I think
Jack,
I hear
it's not the same voice.
that's not the same one. The other one, I think I knew the other one. I don't know this one. Let me climb up, Moss.
Yeah.
Moss
Pip,
picks Jack up by like the scruff of his shirt, and sets him just like right on top.
Oh, your moss is so soft. Gonna
You'll be
puzzle.
dry up there as we wade through this swamp. It's a bit damp down here.
Yeah, the ground was getting squishy.
I think you'd almost drown.
Pip's
Uh,
face
Find a
is
stream so
basically
I can-
kind of just exactly meet like Pip can basically make her face be anywhere on her entire like being, but her face kind of just like manifests about at the same height as where Jack is sitting on Moss's shoulders.
Don't forget, you can fold that moss over like a blanket if you need. He'll just go right back.
like
now would the
crawling out
moss
like a-
grow with Jack under it?
Nice.
So if Jack were to pull it over, like peel it off and pull it over, it would grow back where it was peeled off, and then it would kind of grow into itself until Jack wanted to sit back
Jack's
up.
making moss angels in like a shag carpet. Moss. Oh, so soft. I should sleep down here more often.
Uh, from this high vantage point, Jack, what you would see is not too much farther at the end of the swamp is this almost too hard to see creature, but it's surrounded by snakes coming out of the swamp and skeletons. There's probably about 2 or 3 snakes and 3 skeletons that you can see that look like they're going after whatever this creature is.
So okay, so they're attacking it or chasing it?
Yes.
They're attacking it.
They have it cornered and it can't go anywhere.
There's some skellies and snakes down there picking on someone. Pip, do you see him, Moss? Right there.
I think so.
Moss, Pip, with Jack pointing this out, you can see it as well.
See, we go knock some skelly boys down, eh, Pip?
As
Yeah.
soon as you say that, Pip almost kind of just starts like awkwardly running like a little bit faster, like still kind of like that motion of like she's been trying to like walk really like close together, and then it's almost just like do in the direction that Moss is kind of like, oh well, let's go, just
Jack
kind
has
of in
his
that
bow out.
direction.
Stone tipped arrow. Oh, I made these ones last week. Oh, I can't.
Are there any particularly tall or wide stones just sitting around nearby?
Oh yeah, this is a swamp. They're absolutely like small boulders and
Moss picks up
stones
the
and pebbles.
biggest one he can find.
Yeah, you
He's
want to
like-
hurl it?
I think it's best we get a head start on it. Don't want to be
Yeah.
outnumbered.
Yeah, that's gonna be do you have a talent that allows you to just throw stones?
Yeah, it's called Big Things. You can lift large, very heavy objects and use them as weapons even if they're not intended to be, without suffering disadvantage.
Absolutely. All right. Let's make this since it's a talent, we're gonna make this a body check. Because you do still have to
Had to do
throw
is
it.
ask.
What are you aiming for? Are you just trying to get a couple of them? Are you aiming for one in particular?
I think I'm lining it up to just knock down like the skelly boys if they're closer to that creature.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah, so that's gonna be a target number of 5.
A target number. I got a 6, a 5, a 4, and a 4. Wow, that's really good.
Okay.
That's some pent-up hostility towards skeletons.
So that's 2 hits. Mark 1 on your shadow track.
Yeah.
Save some for me, Moss.
As the boulder you pick up, some of the darkness that was surrounding it, you watch some of its essence as it seeps into you and takes root. And because you get a boon, I'm gonna say you get both of the skeletons.
There we go. Now it's just snakes what you've got to shoot at.
Just snakes. Oh man.
Yeah.
Would that be about? I'm just using my lucky item, which is my bow.
That will also be a body check.
Alrighty.
The only thing left right now are the 3 snakes, and that is the target number of 4. Is what you're looking for.
I got 2 4s and a 6.
All right. It is good to get more than 1 hit and to get boons, but it's also bad. Because as you fill up your shadow track in this game, you have to take on corruptions. Which means you are succumbing to the void.
I'm already at 4.
I think this is gonna be number 5.
So
I'm still at 3. Are you guys okay?
No.
We've got the bloodlust.
Take that shadow. You're able to get 2 of the snakes because they only take 1 hit. So you got 2 hits. So you're able to. Your arrow kind of split and goes into 2 of them. But what you also see is you can finally make out what this creature is. And it's a pixie. But this pixie's wings are gone.
Those dirty snakes are bullying a pixie, Pip.
Hey, Pip, that's a really small human over there.
Is the pixie within a certain amount of range, probably like 5 feet, where Pip could maybe like reach out a branch to it?
I mean, you could easily walk up to it because Jack and Moss kind of got the head start. They wanted to kind of get a jump on them, so you're still about 30 or 40 feet back.
See that shot,
But you
Mom?
could easily walk up to it.
I didn't even
and-
look.
Pip kind of like ambles like a little bit in the direction of where Jack and Moss have been trying to fight, and kind of like make sure that one of her branches are extended towards the moss. And you said that we were in a swamp, right?
Yes.
So I have the ability of minor magics when it comes to water. Can I try to see if there's any way that there's only snakes left over?
There's only one snake.
One snake. Okay, so then I'll basically try to see if I can just have the water that's coming through like this like swampy, muddy mess, kind of see if it can just kind of hold the snake in place as I sit there and extend a branch towards the pixie, so that last snake isn't really bothering the pixie anymore.
Yeah, let's make that a heart roll.
Sure.
Let's make that target number 5.
Okay, I got 1 5 and a 4 and a 2 and a 1, but
Awesome.
5.
So you can mark a spirit.
Okay.
And what everybody sees is this swampy, muddy water come up around this snake almost in like 2 hands and just grab it and just hold it in place. And you also see Pip's branch just elongate. And the pixie just scrambles. Anything to get out of the situation they were in.
I
Pip
think
almost...
Moss would just shout after it. But, yeah, go ahead, Lonnie.
I was gonna say that Pip probably makes sure that it's like one of the branches that like has some kind of like a bird's nest on it or something like that to make sure it looks like hospitable. Like she doesn't have a really high charm, so she's probably like a little awkward with it, but like she's trying to be like, oh well, like some kind of animal lives on this branch, so like why wouldn't this pixie?
Yeah, and this pixie, like I said, just runs right up the extended branch, trying to escape the situation he was in.
And like once she realizes that the pixie is crawling up the branch, she'll almost kind of like curl it up a little bit, kind of just like as an arm, almost like to kind of just be like if it's moving down her arm, like eventually when it gets like here, she'll kind of like curl it up so that it's not over where the snake was, and kind of like pull it away from the situation.
You would hear a faint thank you, as you can kind of feel it stop running and kind of like you feel like a lump, like it just hits when it hits your branch, like taking a breath.
It's just kind of one of those things again where she kind of like, after she's like almost made like this little burrow for it to be in, she kind of just like stays there, like okay, like I like she like there's plenty of different areas on Pip that are very homey, that obviously different animals have kind of like taken to feel as if it's very homey, but like in this moment, like in a very like intense moment, she's kind of just like frozen of like, okay, I've already proven that I'm hospitable, like hello.
That was a cool water trick there, Pip.
Well, luckily we were in a swamp. But
Oh,
but
yeah.
thank you.
You got 2 skellies in one shot, Moss. That was cool.
Oh, yeah, no, it's, you know, big
Yeah.
boulders cover a wider area, you know.
I
Those
only
skelly
took care,
boys.
I only took care of the one snake, so mainly the two of you really took care of most of it. So
Yeah,
good
Are
but
you
you
job.
guys
reached down and
having
rescued that little human.
are you guys having this conversation still standing in the swamp?
I think Moss has probably begun sort of to slowly lumber back towards the direction they were going.
And Jack is just on top of Moss.
And Pip
Okay.
is probably just waiting for the two of them to catch up to where she is and kind of just like, you know, just where are we going next? Just
Hey, Moss, make sure you tell that pixie to stay out of Chippy's nest. He's very territorial.
Oh yeah, hey Pip, can you tell me that branch what with the tiny person on it?
Pip will eventually be like, oh yeah, if you want if you want a place to stay and be safe, she'll like kind of introduce like a new hole that like no animals have inhabited so far, and kind of like, oh, you can stay here if you'd like. This place is, you know, free, you know, what's the name? What do the motels say on those signs of like, oh, there's occupancies or no
Vacancy?
occupancy?
Vacancy?
Vacancy. She's like, oh, there's a vacancy right here, and kind of like almost extend the branch so that the pixie knows where the vacancy is.
I appreciate the help, but nothing in this forest is safe. Not even
Oh,
my wings.
I've been home to a lot of animals. I'll protect you. Don't worry. And she'll kind of like awkwardly just be like, oh, like
If you
these
stay
two are my friends, kind of thing. Of like, obviously I can be trusted because I have two friends with me,
if you stay
basically.
in this forest for too long, you'll end up like the other trees. All of you.
No,
if-
well, that's
I would
honest
suggest
mistake.
you leave as soon as you can.
I'm
if-
not really a
I
tree.
don't have leaves. I'm not a tree.
Yeah.
Pip will, like, if she's in the process of lifting this pixie up towards the vacancy, she'll almost kind of just like wither for a second and be like, no, I don't want to turn out like one of those, and she'll again like kind of like get revamped and just have that moment of like faltering, but
Everything in this forest since the wraith stole the last leaf is crumbled, and then the skeletons and the snakes and the darkness, everybody is gone.
If those skeletons are the only thing protecting that wraith, I don't think we're gonna have too much trouble with it, to be honest with you.
I've seen times where I ran out of my last leaf and I still made it through. You know, the winter or whatever you call it.
I mean, usually that's how this forest works too. The final leaf is thrown into the chasm and then the forest is reborn, but ever since the wraith took the leaf that I was supposed to throw into the chasm, just darkness, skeletons. Have you seen the sky?
Well, no, it's blocked by those clouds.
Not. That's the sky.
You were supposed to be the one?
Yeah, the wraith, and he turns a little bit and like tries to do a little flap, and you can see the veins in his back where his wings used to be. He ripped them right off. I've been running from his minions ever since. That was about 2 months ago.
His? Whose? And Pip is kind of almost just like refurling her like the branches that are further out, almost kind of just to curl behind the pixie, just to kind of almost protect it as she's asking these questions.
And Jack will put his hand on one of Pip's branches and say, "Pip's not going to be like one of these trees. Pip is big and strong. We're not afraid of anybody's onions."
Pip, when this pixie mentions when the last leaf fell, you think that was the last time you heard from Hardy.
Again, I think that's kind of why she's being all of a sudden very protective over this pixie that was supposed to be the one to throw that leaf and you know, assure the changing of the seasons and all that sort of stuff. And she wants to protect this pixie, but in that way of just like, I know I'm a home to all, and especially this person, but because of the fact that I'm home to so many people, that also means that I'm very hollow, metaphorically and physically.
Hey, Pip, it's gonna be alright. We'll find your partner, and it's just a wraith. How hard could it be to club her? Everything takes a boulder to the face only once.
I mean,
I
he's.
only used one arrow on those snacks.
I could take you to him for helping me. The least I could do. He's not surrounded by skeletons though. He's got these like little dark minions, creature things. They're pure shadow.
Well, little fellow, I've never met anything that could take a boulder to the face more than a couple times at least.
As that moment of like, Moss is right. Hardy was stronger than that. And then it's like,
He could have fled. A lot of creatures from the forest fled before the darkness took root.
Well, not everybody's got fight in them. That's okay.
I thought Hardy did, but yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe. And we'll kind of just again make sure that the pixie has a place where it feels safe and is close enough to kind of continue this conversation. Like kind of again, like one of the lower branches that's just a little bit lower, like down to the point where like even with Moss and Jack walking beside her is still able to like all of them are able to have this like conversation without the pixie being like much higher. And we'll say, do you Do you know that everyone left?
It's a big forest, so I can't say 100%, but people are still fleeing even now.
Yeah, we saw a rabbit getting chased into a village earlier today.
Oh, he was huge.
Only as
Big
big as you,
enough.
and you're tiny.
Are you a human? I've never seen one of you before.
Yeah, I think so. That's what Pip says.
That's what I say.
I think that's what all of us say.
I woke up by a waterfall, and I walked around for a while, and I took a nap in a tree, and then I woke up and I was somewhere else, and it was Pip.
Sorry about that again. I listen, I'm so used to stragglers that I don't even realize sometimes when I have a new one. So if you meant to stay in the place where you were, I'm
Oh no,
Ooh.
I'm much happier with you and Moss. Although I do miss Chippy. I hope he comes back soon.
Chippy's on vacation.
Who is Chippy?
Chippy, he's the chipmunk that lives 2 branches up from where you are right now. He was going after his nuts, he said.
Chippy just has those moments of hibernation where sometimes he'll be very active for a while and sometimes he'll just be right on that, like loyally on in that, you know, she'll almost kind of like have a name for it, like, oh, like apartment 2B, like kind of thing, but like the little specific hovel and like that little area of her. I feel like, oh,
Don't
you know,
touch his
like
stuff.
sometimes he occupies that part and like sometimes, you know, like he just has to go out and like make sure he's ready for a hibernation period. Like he'll
Yeah.
come back.
But don't touch his stuff to fight anything.
Oh,
Especially if you
The,
touch his stuff.
the pixie laughs. That is like, he chases his nuts. I like you. I'm Bumble, by the way. My wings used to be black and yellow. That's where I got my name.
Oh, hi, Bumble. I'm Jack. This is Pip, and this is Moss.
Why would they call you Bumble for black and yellow wings?
Because it looks kind of like a bee.
Oh yeah, that's a bee, not a bumble.
Well, it's a bumblebee.
No, that's ridiculous. That's too many syllables.
Well, you can call me Bum.
Oh no, I'll call you Bumble. I just don't see the connection.
Maybe it's a cultural thing, Moss.
Cultural. For
It could also
bees?
be because I was very klutzy when I was a smaller pixie.
Jack looks confused, like he pulled the word cultural out of his vocab, but he has no idea what it means or where he heard it before.
I'm sorry. Wait, did you say you were smaller?
Uh-huh.
You're tiny.
Weren't you smaller?
No. I've been this
You've
big
always
since
been
I
that?
woke up.
Pip will reach like one of just like her tiny little like twigs towards Bumble just to kind of like almost shake hands kind of thing and be like, "Oh, it's nice to meet you. Bumble, Bumble.
Bumble.
Bumble." And just blindly accepting whatever whatever name she gives. If she changes her name into Bum, then it'll be an interesting conversation.
But the just that direction is where the wraith is kind of taken up.
Oh, good. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump now.
Yeah, especially all of a sudden Pip's face will like go from like the point in the tree where she was kind of closer to Bumble, and it'll kind of like reappear a little bit closer to where Moss is and be like, yeah, it'll especially be faster if you were to just hop in one of my branches. I could just walk all of us there very quickly.
Oh no, I'm too heavy for those.
No. I'm very strong. Don't you worry.
No, but you can have Jack back though, and he'll pick Jack up and put him on one of the
Throw me,
branches.
throw me, throw me.
Throw
I'll
you,
catch
yeah,
Mike.
absolutely.
Pip will make sure to like,
Nice.
and like make sure she catches Jack wherever he falls.
Hey, that was fun. Do that again.
Wow, this is amazing.
It's just normal for normal whatever day it is.
Oh, it's Wednesday.
It is. Oh.
It's 4 days from the
Oh.
autumnal equinox. Then he looks confused again.
You say a lot of funny words, Jack.
Mm-hmm.
As Bumble is leading you in the direction of where the wraith is, you hear a skittering off to the side. Not really a skittering, but more of like hoofbeats. Kind of coming in your direction as you all have been walking.
Is it solid ground between us and the sound of these hoofbeats?
Yes, you guys are out of the swamp and you are back into the forest.
Okay. Can I spend a spirit to use my gentle nudge, cause a minor earthquake and knock down a number of creatures equal to my heart score? My heart score is 1.
Yeah, absolutely you can.
I'll just-
You hear you can also feel, as Pip, your roots can also feel as one of many have fallen to the ground, and you all hear like kind of like urgent whispers, and then you just hear just one voice above them all go, "It's fine, I'm okay. I'll just get up and we'll keep moving."
Fine. See, it's okay.
Well, it could have been one of them shadow fellas that Bumble was talking about.
And
That Jack gets his bow ready.
just a few, not even minutes, just as long as it takes for an animal to get up, you see a herd of little more than half a dozen doe and deer start to cross your path. They haven't noticed you yet.
Right, so I have just knocked a deer down and now he's gonna hate me.
We'll
It's okay, deer. Are very
stop
friendly.
moving for a second just to see if like they just pass without kind of noticing us.
Yeah, all of these doe have kind of like a golden shimmer to them. But even though that you can see the golden shimmer, you can see the ash and the mud that's kind of caked on them. Some of them look skinnier than others. As you hear one next to the biggest doe. Are you sure we're going the right way? It's been weeks and we still can't figure out how to get out.
Maybe we could point them back where we came.
Do you think
Excuse me.
Do you think that's where they're going?
Pardon me, little deer fella.
You see a couple of them kind of just deer in the headlights. Just stand still, stock still. Who goes there?
Oh, well, there's a lot of you. Wasn't expecting a whole crowd today. Um, uh, right. What was I doing, Pip?
I think we
Oh,
where they were going.
you.
Right. Where are you going? Are you trying to leave the forest?
This Joe starts to move toward your direction, specifically. And as he does, the rest of the herd follow. We've been trying to get out of here for what feels like a lifetime. We just can't find the edge.
Right, yeah, we just came from there. The outside of the forest.
Yeah, you can just follow Moss's tracks. He leaves big.
Oh yeah, big muddy footprints that way.
Um,
I could follow much smaller tracks, but anyone can follow Moss's tracks.
True. Very followable.
And Pip will also just kind of extend a branch just in that direction as well, just in case they're bad at tracking. Just like lead them in the right direction of the tracks.
Has anyone seen a wraith? We're looking for a wraith. We're gonna kick its butt.
no wraith, skeletons, shadow creatures, but snakes, no. A large bunny, about your size.
He's huge.
I don't know, why do people keep calling that bunny big?
He's huge. Moss.
No, he's not.
I bet you I could ride him.
Which direction did Large Bunny go?
The doe looks around from left to the right. It kind of turns. I'm not sure. We've been a bit turned around.
Well, the right direction for what you're looking for seems to be in and she'll point in whichever direction they just came from. But was there anything else you could tell us about this rabbit? It seems like it keeps coming up.
Oh, his name's Peter.
Peter Rabbit.
Peter Rabbit. Okay.
Yeah, he lived in I don't know where the village is right now, but he really liked the garden of one of the humans that used to live here.
There's humans around here?
Not a lot, but there are some.
I've never seen another human, Pip.
Pip's face kind of manifests closer to where she thinks Jack's face would be, kind of just looking at him like this shocked face of do you think there's other ones? And then her just kind of almost like that when you are in a class and you want to give your friend that private look and you just do that for a really quick second, but then you go back to making sure the teacher doesn't yell at you. It was kind of one of those things where for a second Pip looks at Jack and just and then we'll look back at the deer and be like, humans? Peter Rabbit and humans. A human that looks about the same size as a rabbit that looks the same size as a human hanging out with humans. What?
No, I would hang out with a giant rabbit if I knew where a giant rabbit was.
Well, we'll find the giant rabbit for you.
Yeah, I mean, I heard they were really great friends, and this doe looks over at Moss. You okay, friend?
What? Yeah, fine. It's just didn't expect there to be so many of you. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-ish, 7, maybe. I don't know. Why? I'm fine. Fine.
So can you do me a favor and take about 5 steps so we can see what kind of tracks we need to follow to get out of here.
Maybe you could.
And
No,
the herd kind of splits for you to make this aisle for you to walk through.
I'm not walking through. Just look behind me. Actually, if you just look back there, that's where my tracks are. Is back there. I'm not gonna walk through you. That's fine. Don't have to go through all this fanfare to get a track. Just look right back there. That's fine.
His left foot is this big,
Make
and his right foot is this big around.
make a charm. We're gonna make this charm because you guys did go into a swamp.
I was gonna say
So
Pip could also just sit there and like just stomp like 2 feet forward.
We're not gonna make this hard. We're gonna make this a target number 4.
Okay. I rolled a 1, a 2, and a 4.
All right, hey, that's a hit. You get a spirit.
Yay.
And the biggest doe looks behind you and watch it and looks to see what your tracks look like. Thank you very much. We'll follow these to the edge of the forest. We appreciate the help. It hasn't been easy to survive in these parts.
I think
Hopefully the phoenix will emerge soon and all will be right.
Oh, he will. Rest assured.
And all of the doe kind of bow their head and like their front legs in like a low bow to the now 4 of you.
Jack will do his best imitation of their bow.
And we'll start following the track back the way you all came. How is Moss feeling in this moment?
Moss is feeling as his statue's kind of locked up in the face of a large group of people. Is just kind of like standing there, stunned, just not saying anything after they've left already. Definitely feeling very anxious now that he knows there's more people out here.
You led in the right direction. It was safe back there, and we're heading towards trouble, so you put them in the right way.
Yeah, put them in the right way. They're just gonna be there when we get out. You know, just a crowd waiting there for us after we've done our due diligence, waiting there to talk to us, maybe, to see us.
That's
for
okay.
us to
It'll also
have to
be
look at
others for us to celebrate with when we've succeeded in what we've meant to do.
No, I think we could just celebrate, like just the 3 of us and maybe that tiny human in your tree.
I'm a pixie.
Pixies have wings.
Don't discriminate. Come
Oh,
on.
I'm sorry. I'm in a bit of a twist at the moment, and also I'm not very bright whatsoever, so that's my bad. I'm sorry.
It'll be great to celebrate the 4 of us, or 3 of us, 4 of us. Pixie, are you okay with being included?
You guys seem pretty safe.
I'd consider us to be pretty safe, and you'll
you
almost
just-
like see her entire trunk twist towards
If
where Moss and Jack are, just to be like, right, yeah, like we're safe.
if you guys can help me get that leaf back, I can finish maybe you can help me finish my job and
As
we
long
can
as
go
we
to the
don't,
castle.
as long as we don't run into any more large groups of people on the way, I think we'll be fine.
What's a wraith anyway?
It is a scary, shadowy, transparent creature.
How many parents does it have?
I'm sorry, what?
That's what I was.
You said
That's
something
what I was
about
going to
its
ask.
parents. It has parents?
It's transparent. You can see through it. It's opaque.
Uh, it's
My dad
okay.
called me opaque once.
Like, I feel like I'm very hard to miss. And she almost kind of like just tries to like shrink down a little bit, but like obviously she's
I
gonna
would
like
miss
bends
you if
forward
you
a little
weren't
bit.
around. Yep. But we're safe. We're
But the
safe.
wraith
Moss is big and strong. Pip is big and strong. And I'm fast. And I'm nothing.
and I will hide in the branches. I've tried fighting the wraith many times, and he points to his back, where his wings are no longer there. Obviously didn't come up on time.
We'll get
as-
your wings back too, I'm sure.
Right after
and
Moss smushes him with a rock. A big one.
exactly, we'll get payback, and also Pip will 100% like point to all the different places where the pixie can hide, like all the different like little holes and hovels and all that sort of stuff, so that it feels safe when we are confronting the wraith.
Yeah, and to jump forward, Bumble is taking you through the forest, and you guys are walking for a while. And you come across this this cave, and Bumble goes, last I saw him, he was just in there. He's got a bunch of minions with him last I saw. And the leaf is on a pedestal, like a tree trunk with a see-through cloche. A cloche is like a covering that you put on top.
I know what clothes are.
Oh, like a blanket.
I've got clothes.
No, like glass.
I don't have glass clothes.
No, I don't have any glass in me. That's for them sandstone kin.
Glass clothes would be fun. I mean, it would hurt if they break.
Those guys break under pressure all the time.
Maybe that's what he just needs. Maybe you guys can just put the pressure on him.
Oh, is he made of glass?
No, but the thing surrounding the leaf that we need is made of glass.
Oh, what
He's
if it's
surrounded
something
by
that
onions.
Cashew.
Wait, what about onions?
She said
These
he.
mash?
Bumble said he's surrounded by onions. He's got onions. He sends out his onions after people. You know, like the skeleton. I don't know why Bumble's calling him an
Oh,
onion.
like the little bone boys. Those
Yeah.
aren't onions. Anyway,
They
yeah, I
didn't look
could
like they
smash
had
glass.
layers. Didn't look like they had layers. Onions have layers.
Onions stink.
Ogres
So does
have
this floor.
layers.
I have a layer as well. I've got the sedentary layer.
I
Yeah,
I don't
a
have
little corpse.
layers. I technically have rings. Does that count?
I
Well,
mean,
no, you can't
every
have rings.
onion's layer is a ring if you cut it in half.
Cut me in half, please.
I hate to ask this in the
No, you're too
middle of a
nice.
conversation, but what is an onion?
It's a vegetable that makes you cry.
Oh, I don't have tear duct.
Then it'll be perfect.
Okay,
Sometimes I
alright,
find
I'll
them-
smash the...
Sometimes I find them growing wild, like near riverbanks, and I'll eat one, but they kind of stink,
Mm.
and they make your breath stinky too.
That would be cool if I had breath, I think.
What is it? What is it like to taste things too? That's. Hmm.
You know, there's magics that can do that.
I
You have to
think
go
we'll get those magics
way
done to us, and then we'll have a...
But you have to go way up north, to the archive of the Copper Swan for that kind of magic, though.
Here we go, Pip. After we take care of the wraith and his onions.
And it's
Of course,
glass.
yeah.
Yeah, and his glass clothes. Those two.
I'll smash those glass clothes.
Pep will like very concerned, like we'll make her face appear kind of right near where Jack is and look a little concerned and be like, aren't glass clothes a problem for all of you? Isn't that kind of negating the point?
I don't know. I wear normal clothes. Made out of reeds and stuff.
Yeah, don't you wear the clothes to cover? Like she's kind of like just thinking about the fact that she doesn't wear any clothes, so she's like, it's like not computing is aren't clothes to like cover things to like, isn't that the point?
I mostly wear them so that I'm not cold.
I mean, glass can be colored, so it's dark and not see-through.
It's breakable either way, the way I see it.
Keep you
but-
warm.
We should probably go in before the patrol spots us. So
It's okay if
Oh, yeah,
all
let's
of you
get in there.
if all of you try to ride on my branches, I can actually blend in. So even if we do see a patrol, I just like
I bet
Photo
you Moth
alert.
could just look like a regular rock too if he wanted to.
If I lay down real flat.
oh, there we go. See,
So-
two of us know exactly how to camouflage. So the rest of you just need to
Jack will scramble up one of your vines.
so with Pip and Moss camouflaging, you all sit there having hushed conversation, hopefully. As you see over the next 20 minutes, you start to see a bit of a patrol pattern, and you're able to get closer to this cave entrance, and make it inside. And what you all see is deep in this cave. It's dark, it's dank, it's wet, it's musty. Caves that any of you have ever been in, there should be bats. There are no bats. There is a darkness that clings to all of the walls and the ground that you walk on. And in the far back of one of the crevices, you see this large, dark figure. It's shadowy, and you can see through it. And it looks like the shadow is dripping off of it, as it kind of hovers and around him you do see some of the skeletons. But what you also see is that same shadow in about a dozen um, dark, shadowy creatures. Some of them are bigger than the others. Some of them are the size of a pig, whereas like others are like the size of a chihuahua. And they have these pointy ears at the top. Some of them have fangs. And just behind the wraith, on a dark, shadowy stump, is a bright red and orange leaf with a glass covering. And that's where we're going to take our break.
No.
There's a lot of people down there.
These don't look like onions at all.
It's so close,
So-
but out of reach.
We'll give our peeps some time to think about what they're going to do and assess their situation. And then we get into the meat of it. Hello, and welcome back. Last we left off, our brave adventurers had found the deepest, darkest cave in a dead forest with just one shining red-orange leaf, with many, many enemies around them, and the void pouring out of the walls and through the floor. What would my players like to do?
You guys think you can get the leaf?
I feel like I could sneak past them. I think I can get it.
I can. I might be able to get somebody close enough.
There's a lot of fellas down there.
Do you need a lift? And one of Pip's the branch that Bumble is kind of on will kind of just like lift Bumble up a little bit higher to see if maybe like she can just like help elongate like above the head of the lich to see if that'll help like with the sneak factor, I guess.
Oh, well, I was just gonna teleport somebody over there. Maybe
Oh.
Jack, because they're the smallest.
Right, teleportation is a thing.
Do you need a ruckus while you do that?
What's teleportation, Pip?
Well, I don't want to freak you out, but if she does teleport you, you're gonna be in a different spot than you started in. Just abruptly. It's gonna seem a little strange. That's okay.
Isn't that just like walking, Pip?
See, if you're going from point A to B, you don't remember the walking in between the two. You're just at point B.
I need someone to tell me what they're doing because this conversation is too long. You are literally in front of the wraith right now.
I think that Moss is making a ruckus while they figure out what they need to do.
Okay.
Like Moss is probably picking up a stone and hucking it at a guy so that they're looking at them and not at the friends behind me.
I think while
I
he's
think-
starting his ruckus, Jack is thinking really hard about. He's looking at the space between where he is and where he needs to be. And he's thinking about how he would sneak around it, and being this close to all this void, his shadow, like he doesn't even realize he's doing it at first, but then his shadow kind of steps away from him and starts climbing down Pip.
Yeah.
And that's my corruption. That's foul mirror. So I need to make
Uh,
for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Bumble sees this, and Pip, you feel just like a quick like shake of your leaves where Bumble is standing. Um,
There's two of me.
I am going to need a body check from Moss
Oh, for Moth.
to make the distraction. This is going to be a target number 6.
From bottom to top, I rolled a 3, a 5, a 6, and a 6.
Okay,
Too many crickets.
Ruckus is his business, and business is good.
mark a shadow.
Yeah, I'm up to 5 now. LOL.
As you go to pick up this rock, it's very similar to what happened earlier today. You feel the shadow that's on the ground creep up your body, encouraging you to do what it is that you're about to do. It's like you're in the heart of the void, and it likes the chaos you're about to bring.
Yeah. So Moss picks up that boulder. I think the void comes off of the boulder, and then the moss from his hand extends onto it before he hucks it. And then he just goes charging in while everybody does their whatever it is they're doing.
What is Pip doing in this moment?
I feel like Pip is also trying to be a distraction, but also kind of in that sense of just like, oh, look at me, look how big I am. Like I'm a tree that literally just walked into a cave. That's so strange. Um and also trying to see like I think basically trying to protect the people that she knows are going to be running towards this. She knows she's obviously not the sneaky type, so she's just gonna be like, look at me, or I will trample you if you don't look at me.
I will need a body check to help with protecting and distracting, or you can describe to me how you would use magic to create the same thing, and you'll be able to use heart instead.
That is, okay. So we're in a cave where there'd probably be a lot of, like, just excess moisture in the air. So I think almost in the sense of, like, the whole, like, water
It
cycle.
doesn't have to be water magic. It can be any kind of magic. It just has to be minor.
I figured it had to be something that was related to the magic that I had. Oh. Well,
I mean, if you want it to be.
I was gonna say I'm gonna go with the idea that I had in my head just because in my like right now it makes sense. Kind of in that sense of like how you learn about like the water cycle in like 6th grade science class, how like water will like fall to the ground, then it'll have to like precipitate back up, and then it'll fall again. Almost just making it so that like all of a sudden, right where the wraith is standing, all the stalactites of the cave, will be like just raining down water, kind of just to distract it. So it's like purposefully just in that area being rained on, and like if I can make it like just pellets of like heavy rain on it.
Yeah, give me a heart roll.
Cool.
Target number 6.
Okay. Oh my god. Oh, that is 2 5s. But 2 5s, a 3, and a 1.
That's gonna be our first complication.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
You tried your best, Pip. It's
Oh
okay.
dear.
So you need to mark. So luckily in this game, we fail forward. So on a fail with no hit, you get a complication, but you mark a skill, which is how you level up in this game.
Cool.
So you can mark 1 on your skill track. as you are making this like endless like water feature basically, you not only catch the attention of the wraith, which was kind of looking at Moss but is now looking directly at you, and you hear it's not really a voice because he doesn't really have lips, um but you hear sounds like wailing sounds um come out of his mouth, and you I'm gonna have you take a condition as I'm gonna bring out the character sheet.
They are afraid, rattled, terrified,
Yeah.
unconscious, dead, broken, injured, or exhausted.
It's not gonna be physical damage because these little shadow creatures, um they're not physically harming you yet. But just with the minions in the darkness, you feel them in your roots. And this is a feeling you've never felt before. And you get the sense that this is how the trees that are out in the forest must have started feeling when the darkness started to take hold of the area. So you are now afraid. And the water feature stop.
I think instinctively Pip, like, all of the little holes and hovels that she has trying to welcome different animals, if there is anybody inhabiting those areas, she almost kind of tries to like wrap her either close them up or like wrap her branches like to kind of like seal away that area, as she's sitting there just realizing this is probably how Greenheart felt, and knowing she's never felt this before, and realizing that she's never really realized what he was feeling.
We're gonna do Bumble's turn before we get to Jack, because Jack is putting himself in the most danger right now.
As Jack does.
Bumble is going to Pip will start feeling movement in their leaves, and even though you're afraid for the briefest of seconds of that fear, you feel a little joyful, but then it quickly goes away. But half of the minions that are on the floor just fall to the ground, fall asleep. Not all of them, but about half. And then we'll move on to Jack. I need a body roll for your shadow.
All right.
It's going to be a target number 6 to get to the leaf.
You're not gonna believe it, but I got 3 stations.
All right,
Oh my
mark
God,
the shadow.
Holy moly.
I can show you my dice roller if you want.
You are able to get to the leaf. No problem. You and your shadow, you're in sync. It's almost like you're actually there. You're able to, I'm going to say you're able to get there, but I'm going to give you advantage, which is an extra die to your next trait check. to try and get the leaf out from underneath the
Okay.
the
Do you want
glass
me?
case it's in.
Do you want me to try that now, or do you want to
Nope,
go
we're
over?
gonna come back to that.
Okay.
And because your shadow is basically the void that is surrounding, nobody has noticed it yet.
Excellent.
But that'll bring us back to Moss.
I want to throw a little bit of flavor as Jack is in Pip's branches, kind of mimicking the movements of the shadow going through the thing. Little tendrils of black are filling up the whites of his eyes. I can see it, Pip. I'm almost there.
I think as Moss is sort of like in the fray here with these little guys, they fall asleep, and Moss kind of clocks that Pip has just briefly locked up. Will turn to the Wraith and just charge him and try to grab him.
Yeah, body check me. Target number 6.
I love making body checks.
Like I
Just
come from a
body him.
hockey. I come from a hockey town. That's a whole other meaning.
So I roll 4d6s for body because Moss is a big strong boy. From bottom to top, I rolled a 1, a 1, a 1, and a 6.
And you know what?
I was this close to that being very bad.
I mean, 1 is a success, so you can mark 1 spirit,
I'll take it.
and you're able to get right on this wraith. You are fully engaged.
I don't remember saying you could take your eyes off of me.
Show him who's boss.
And
Moss.
it opens its mouth. And we'll that's all you see right now. Is its mouth just looks like it's unhinging. Pip, what would you like to do?
Is Moss standing near me still, or has Moss kind of... Sorry,
No, Moss is up with the wraith. So
Okay.
on the other side of the cavern.
Okay. Sorry, my audio cut out for a second. I don't know what happened, but so I don't know
Moss
where people are as much.
embodied this
But
wraith.
okay. I try to like bridge the gap in between me and the wraith so that I'm standing right near it because I'm the biggest target. So it like I want to make sure that I'm near it. And I try to see if all of the water that I just rained down on this wraith will freeze like I know that I'd only rained down a little bit, so I don't know if it would actually freeze the wraith, but I want to see if it almost freeze the clothes that the wraith is wearing to see if maybe it would at least like make its movements more rigid. And maybe limit its amount of movement and maybe like spell casting or actual physical attacks.
Yeah. Let's make that a heart check. It's gonna be target number 6.
Okay.
You got it. Come on.
Okay.
No one has more heart than Pip.
For real.
My table is really small that I'm like rolling on, so I'm like being very careful. Okay. All right. I have a 6, a 4, a 1, and a 3. So at least there was 1.
Mark a spirit.
Cool. I can do that.
And you are for the moment able to freeze the wraith. But in concentrating on the wraith, more of that darkness from your roots has grown up. And you're going to need to mark another condition. Rattled.
Okay. All right.
So now anything you roll will be 1 die less.
it's like one of those things where Pip is doing this, but at the same time she's almost like wincing as she's doing it, just like knowing she needs to, but just like, oh man, why do I have to? Kind of vibe. So
By making yourself a target, you took what was about to happen to Moss onto yourself.
that was the goal. That was the goal.
It's Jack's turn.
Well, they've got him distracted. Jack's shadow is going to try to just kind of lift the covering enough to just grab the leaf.
Yep. That's gonna be a body check, and you get an extra die.
And am I going for a 6 again?
A 6.
Got 1.
1 6. That's all you
Yeah.
need. You're able. You see the handle, and your shadow doesn't even like really notice. It just throws it against the wall, and all of a sudden there's just a shatter.
They aren't close anywhere
And
around here, Pip.
and your shadow is now holding the leaf, and
I've got it.
very slowly, because it is frozen, the wraith turns its head from Moss
All right.
to look at you.
Eyes on me, big guy.
I think he's found me, Pip. And I'm just gonna cradle the shadow's gonna cradle this leaf and try to skirt back, jumping from pool of shadow to pool of shadow to get back to Pip. I got it. And if any of you bothers to take a look at this point, now the whites of Jack's eyes are entirely black.
That'll be Moss's turn.
Yeah, Moss is just gonna start wailing on this wraith like as hard as he can. Just trying to keep Pip from getting any more damage and keep Jack's shadow safe so they can get the leaf and get the hell out of here.
Yeah. Target number 6, give me some more body.
Ooh. That's a 6, a 5, a 5, and a 1.
You get another good hit on this wraith. That is not even looking at you. It does not want anything to do with you. But you no, you wouldn't see this. Pip, what would you like to do?
I think at this point Pip is basically just trying to use as many as her like lower hanging branches as possible to like kind of wave in the like just almost block the direction of where Jack and Jack's shadow are starting to run back with the leaf, just kind of like trying to block, and like if the wraith tries to move, almost kind of like whacking it back in place.
Give me a body.
I shouldn't have done that, but that's fine. I only have
Target
2 for
number
body.
6. And it's 1 less die.
Oh no, that is 1 die. Okay,
Unless
alright.
you can explain to me how you use magic to do this. I will also say that you can spend. Oh, no. None of you have really. Do you have 2 skill points?
I have 1.
Never mind.
Yep. Okay.
I don't have any.
Just our luck.
I don't want to use the same magic trick twice, which is the thing. Let me just double check really fast the
Just spam
different
Eldritch
types
Blast,
of
you'll be fine.
minor magics. I am a tree, so I
You are.
could literally use like plant magic to see if I could almost entangle it whenever it tried to move forward, so it kind of like held it in place.
Yeah. Make me
Cool.
a heart roll then.
All right, and that is 3 instead of 4, but that is still better than rolling one singular die and hoping it'll work. So oh my god, stay still. I'm sorry, I'm rolling on a very small surface. That is 2 3s and a 4.
Okay, that is another failure.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna mark one skill,
Uh-huh.
and now you see it. You see what Moss missed on their hit. Is it the minions that are still awake are starting to surround Jack's shadow? And is starting to like climb up this trunk to try and get the leaf back.
Am I able to voice anything at the end of my turn, or is that just
You can,
that's
yeah,
just
you
it?
can voice something. Absolutely.
I basically just say, watch the shadow, apparently everyone else is. Um and that's what I do with the rest of it.
And then speaking of the shadow, Jack be nimble. Jack be quick. Get away from these shadows.
So he's going to try to jump like over the things crawling up to get his shadow.
Trying to jump over the candlestick
Yeah,
metaphor.
trying to be nimble,
Yeah,
trying
the
to
The
be.
shadow
candlestick or a
stick.
minion.
He's going to make a run for it.
Yeah, jump. Body. Target number 6.
Just my normal one this time, though, right?
Just normal.
I got 2 6s.
Mark a
Yeah.
shadow.
I rolled like
Our little
garbage. I
corrupt
need sprint
boy.
game today, but I'm on fire with this D6 game.
Have you filled up your shadow track?
No, I've got 3 spots left,
Cool.
and I've got a trait in my back pocket. Will help me.
You hear Pip because you're standing in Pip's branches, and your shadow, in tandem of what Pip is saying, jumps over these minions, almost like it's flying, and like using the darkness. And with the 2 hits, I'm gonna say that your shadow gets back to you because Pip has run in to help Moss.
And as it scrambles up, you know, one-handed, keeping the leaf safe, it sort of gets up to Jack proper and sort of melts into his feet, and the leaf drops and Jack just catches it in his hands. I got it, Pip. I got the leaf.
And you just like, if you're looking at Pip, you just see like the moment where like all of her leaves just like kind of relax down a little bit.
That leaves Moss. You guys have the leaf.
Okay, we have the leaf. Jack is on Pip. Jack has the leaf. Bumble is on Pip.
Mhm.
Pip is currently surrounded by little guys.
But
No.
Pip is the...
No, Pip is not.
No. Okay.
It was Jack's shadow that was surrounded by little guys.
Yeah.
Okay, and those are further away from Pip.
Yes, they are. They are
Okay,
closer
so-
to you than they are to Pip.
I have a silly, goofy idea, and you can tell me no. I'd like to use my big things trait to grab the wraith and huck it into the little guys to sort of like push them all away so we can make a break for it.
Okay. Okay. Because Pip was able to freeze the wraith and make it a little more corporeal, I'm gonna allow it.
That's what I'm counting
I'm gonna
on.
let you push him like an icicle at these minions. Target number 6.
A
No.
little bit of friendly.
You're
That's
supposed to roll better than I've been rolling. Stop that.
I did roll better. I just I rolled 2 6s, so I get to mark another shadow.
Um,
Good, but bad, but good. But bad, but good.
And
Like,
mark another shadow. I'm gonna give you advantage on the next trait check that you need to make. And I'm gonna say that as you throw this wraith and it hits the minions, not all of the minions disperse, but the wraith first kind of melts because it was frozen into this dark ichor before it kind of blends with the darkness and the shadow that's on the ground.
okay, we have to go now. And then Moss begins to run for the exit.
Jack will stash the leaf into a safe nook on Pip, and then he'll pull out his bow and arrow and just start sending some parting shots. You stink, and so do your onions.
Um, as you guys start running out of the cave, you hear Bumble go, "They're still following. They're starting to catch ground. They're coming out of the walls. They're coming out of the ceiling."
You guys keep going. I'll handle it. I've got an idea.
No. What? Okay, question. Just for player's sake, what happens if we use one of our corruptions? Do we? Oh, we have to mark a shadow. Okay,
You
Yeah,
have to
you
mark
my
mark
whatever.
thing says
shadow.
mark one shadow.
See, I marked a shadow, and then I rolled 2 6s right after it, so I had to mark.
Okay. Okay. So I want before Moss tries to like do something heroic and like stay behind or something like that, Pip is actually going to do the exact opposite of saying no, all of you get on me. She is going to use her corruption to remove 2
hold on.
conditions from herself.
I need to ask Moss.
Yeah, what's up?
Are you heeding Pip's advice? Or would you like to do a roll off to see
I mean, Moss
who
isn't.
actually
Moss isn't trying to like stay behind. Moss just wants to make sure that everybody ahead of him is out so that he can knock the cave wall down as they make their escape. Right? They're not trying to stay behind. They're just trying to not like block off the cave. That's all. I don't know if that's necessarily if that's what Pip is assuming Moss is doing. Moss is probably not attempting to heed that. No, but that's also not what Moss is after.
Okay, I thought Moss was trying to be like, no, you guys like get it. Like, I mean, still technically you staying behind just to make sure the walls collapse is still like
both of you roll me a d6?
risky.
Just a D6. That's a
I
one.
rolled a 3.
Okay.
1v3.
I am not going to take away Moss's player agency,
Mhm.
but your action would come before his.
Okay. I guess if Pip becomes aware of the fact that Moss is trying to just make sure that the cave collapses before like without the wraith getting out, then I think she would restructure her plan a little bit to make sure that she picks up Jack, kind of like shoots her branches out a little bit to push any pursuance far enough, like just kind of like push them back a little bit, even if it's just to throw them off kilter for a second, they have to regain their ground, whatever. And then make sure that all of the allies are clearly out, but also as soon as she's out, she's keeping an eye on Moss. So that the second that they make sure everything collapses, she can grab them.
Moss, roll me body.
Yeah.
Or no, this is a talent. This is a talent.
This
right?
is a corruption.
Okay, what is the wording on your corruption? Does it
Mark
just happen?
Mark 1 shadow, destroy any object up to the size of a small house. And since we're sort of towards the entrance, you said it was maybe small enough that I could do that.
Absolutely. Moss yells out, "You guys go first," and he's still running. And then just behind him, you just see. First, it's just small pebbles start to drop, and then bigger boulders, and then just a crashing as he's bought you some time and collapsed the cave behind you.
We have to go before they figure out how to get out of there.
Moss, that was amazing.
It's I can do that maybe a couple more times if we ever need to level a small house. But I think we should just
I'm
maybe
not sure what a house is, but let's do it.
let's get out of here first.
Like knowing, even though like you like Pip kind of knows that Moss doesn't usually like ride on her branches or anything like that. Like she'll kind of do that moan of like where she kind of like extends a branch in case Moss wants it, but like knowing that they might not accept it, but just like in that moment of just like, good job, like do you want to just get out of here really fast altogether, or are you just gonna keep up with us?
I'll keep up with you, and Moss puts a little bit of moss on that branch.
Oh.
It's like a friendship bracelet.
Oh.
All right. Let's
Again,
go with
Pip gets that like that warm feeling like on that one little bit of her arm, like that little like tingly warm feeling, just like nice, and just like runs and is always like making sure that Moss is close behind.
Yeah, you guys are able to make it out of the cavern, slowing down the minions in the darkness for now, but you know that it's the void. It can just, if it really wanted to, it could just creep through the crevices of the rocks. What are you guys doing to try to get to the top of the mountain?
I have an ability I haven't used yet called Stone Call. I can spend one spirit and move rocks as long as they touch the ground while it happens. So I kind of like find a flat rocky area, and I will use that to sort of escalate us up the mountain as quickly as I can.
Okay. Yeah, you guys are running through the forest, and you see that even though you haven't seen any shadows, the skeletons are starting to take chase now. And the clouds up above are starting to get darker. But Moss is able to make these like stepping stones to start getting you up the mountain. Pip, I need you to make a body check to see if you can stay on these platforms that Moss is creating, because you're bigger than Moss is.
Are
Jack,
we
covering fire? Well,
Absolutely. You know what? Add an extra die to that. because Jack is helping.
Okay, are we going under the impression that I didn't use my corruption, or
If you
I
wanted to use your corruption, you could.
Okay, because that would get rid of my 2 conditions and would also give me an extra advantage point. So I think I might use that, and that would actually bring me up to 4 die for a body roll, which
Hey, you're as strong
sounds
as Moss
good
right
in this
now.
moment.
You're as strong as Moss.
Yes.
You're hardwood now.
Did you get sturdier?
I got stronger seeing what you did out there.
Oh,
Okay.
no, do not do what I do.
Oh my god. Okay. So, how did I roll 3 3s, but then also a 6?
All you
But
needed
a
was
6.
one.
All you need is one.
Add a spirit.
Cool.
Clear your condition. That's awesome. Right. Jack, roll me a body check.
All right.
It's gonna be a low target number. We're gonna give it like a 4.
I got
Because
a 6,
these-
a 3 to 1.
Yeah, Jack, you're just like, you see these skeletons, and you're just like, you hit them and they just shatter. As you guys are going up this mountain.
This is too easy, Pip.
Mark a spirit.
I told you those
job,
bone
guys.
boys wasn't very strong.
Much more satisfying than snacks, though.
They seemed really scary in that cave.
What? No, they're just bones. I break those for breakfast.
Those. So weird. Abnormal. Unknown. Don't like it.
What else are you guys doing to get up this mountain and away from the dangers below?
I think Moss is just using their general, like, immense strength being a stonekin to, like, help lift as needed, as well as, like, maybe talking to the mountain and seeing if there's, other paths they could be taking at the time.
Which do you want to do? Do you want to?
I'll help first. I'll like
Yeah.
go ahead
Okay.
and like reach down to Pip to like kind of give her some
Um,
leverage.
Pip is kind of big, but with the body roll that they just made, we're gonna make this a target number 5
Oh, good.
because it's still gonna be difficult, but
That's a 5, a 3, a 2, and a 1.
awesome. Yeah, you're able
I love
to
that for me.
grasp one of Pip's branches and kind of like haul them up like above you. Like you'll make a couple of stones and you'll go up one and then you'll just like
I'm basically just like making myself an anchor point for them.
Mm-hmm. And it's just lifting Pip up.
It'll be that moment of just like Pipping, like, wow, I'm used to lifting other people up. I'm not used to being lifted up myself. This is weird.
My uncle was from these mountains.
Makes sense why you're so good at maneuvering them.
He was an igneous rook.
Oh.
What is Jack doing as we're going up this mountain? You don't really have to do much climbing because Pip is doing all of the work, but
I think if he's not taking pot shots at any pursuers, he's probably trying his best to be helpful by pointing out to Pip where Pip should step. I don't know how helpful it actually is.
If you want to
right
help,
there, Pip, right there.
Yeah, give me a mind check.
Oh, found my weak spot.
Target number 4. Because you're pretty high up and you can see.
I only have 1 dice on this one.
Honestly, it'll be really helpful though because Pip only really has her face like kind of lower down on the branches, so she doesn't have the same height advantage that you do. So
I'm up. I'm a pirate in the crow's nest.
Um, Jack, what you see as you're kind of pointing out where best for Moss to put his to reshape the stone and where Pip should take a step, you also start to see the clouds are getting even darker, and you start to see it rain, but none of you are getting wet and nothing is reaching the ground. But you see this darkness just dripping from the clouds as you keep climbing this mountain. But you're almost to the top.
That's the funniest rain I've ever seen. It doesn't rain like that in the other forest.
I think we're gonna have company once we get up there.
More skeletons.
Negative. Hopefully not. We already had company down there. Who wants to have us as company that much?
Well, my cave seal wasn't that fallible.
Good
Besides,
job with that.
we're delightful.
Jack,
My
only a
charm
charm
of
check.
one.
Charm check.
Yeah, we're gonna make this target number 5. Let's see how charming you guys are.
I think I might be the most charming of us.
I am the least charming. I have a charm of 1. I just really, really care, but I'm awkward about it.
I didn't make that one, but I have an ability called Tenacious where I can spend 1 spirit and reroll it. So I will try.
Yeah,
I got it. 4 and 6.
awesome. So that's
He's a
2
rascal.
hits. No, I said it was a target number 5. 1 hit. Yeah, you guys are pretty charming. And Bumble goes, yeah, you guys are pretty nice, and you guys, you know, helped out the Golden Herd. That was pretty nice, pretty charming.
Was the Golden Herd them scary groups of deer?
Yeah.
Okay. I think when we get to the top, Bumble, your priority should be getting that leaf off the side.
I can certainly try. Jack,
If
and he
yeah.
holds the
Jack
hand up.
hands over the leaf. Pulls it from the little nook he stored it in and hands it over.
I'll
Don't
be
tell
on,
Chippy I put a leaf in his stuff.
I'll be on butchering duty for the little guys, and maybe the big guy if he's up there.
Maybe the mountain can help you throw some stones.
Maybe.
And Jack gets his bow and arrow ready again. I might have to borrow some twigs, Pip. I'm running low.
Thank you for the raid. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't read what it says.
That is the Vactere.
But our players, we are playing Good Strong Hands by Nerdburger. Our players are currently running up a mountain to throw a leaf into a chasm to bring a forest back to life and get rid of some of the darkness that is slowly starting to take over their home. What would Pip like to do to help get the rest of the way up the mountain?
Pip is kind of, because she's so big, I feel like Pip is almost kind of watching to see if there are any moments where somebody else, like, she knows that she is awkward and she is clambering up this hill and she's probably the one that people are watching out for, but at the same time, like, she wants to make sure that if, like, there's a moment where somebody, like, slips, she, like, has the branch, like, right there to, like, catch them and kind of, like, right them right away so that there's no way that they, like, I don't know, they're, like, stumbling for too long.
I am going to make this a heart roll.
Okay.
Target number 6.
Okay.
Because you're gonna have to kind of dangle off the side of this mountain to make sure that if anybody falls, you can catch them.
So my highest was a 5.
Oh no.
Mark a skill.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And this also comes with a complication.
Uh-huh.
You see the crest of the mountain where you need to go. Bumble has been giving you guys like directions where the chasm is, so you're not going up the wrong part of the mountain. And what you see as you come up to the top and you crest it, you lose your balance real quick, but in that you're able to like grasp your branches into it, and then you don't see it, but you feel it. The thing that was in your roots earlier in the cave, you feel it in the mountain, and it's gathering in one spot not far from where you guys are, and it's waiting.
Even though Pip cleared her conditions, there's still that moment of just like uncertainty and just like that wavering of like she's trying to help people, but then all of a sudden she's just like, oh. But she's trying not to let anybody else see that, so she'll continue on up the mountain and it's almost kind of just like, for lack of better terms, muscle memory, instead of like actually like, oh my god, I need to catch this person, just kind of like, oh, someone's falling, instinct, like but
Oh crap, the one falling is me.
I got you. But yeah, basically just kind of like that moment of fear, like in her very bark is like enough to shake her and have her basically just it's a different kind of protection of just like, I have to protect these people, this is automatic like reflexes kind of thing.
I need someone to make me one more check to safely make it up the top of this mountain.
What kind of check?
What do you want to do?
I would like to do body.
How are you going to use your body to get up the mountain?
I'm gonna kind of crest over the top and help hoist Pip up, same I've been doing as an anchor.
Yeah.
Can I use heart to kind of give Pip like a pep talk?
Yeah, absolutely. You can both roll your heart and roll your body. Jack, we're gonna make yours a target number 4 because
Okay.
Pip doesn't really have any emotional conditions right now, like mechanically. Okay. Moss, yours is gonna be a 5.
Okay. That's oh
Got 1
no.
4.
2 5s and 2 1s.
You are able. What happens is you get the momentum of Pip, and you not only get them to the top of this mountain, you throw Pip a good 50 feet.
Sorry.
And Jack will slide down a vine to where Pip's face is currently, and you just kind of say softly to her, "It's like, I know you don't like being up high, Pip, but you can do this. I believe in you."
How is Pip doing?
I think right now it's one of those things where like it's one of those things where like as soon as somebody says don't look down, that's when you look down kind of thing. So they're climbing this mountain, and like when you're climbing a mountain, sometimes you don't really realize how high up you are until you've reached the top and you can like see and like literally just like see this whole expanse. So like Jack will give this little pep talk, and she'll be like, yeah. And then all of a sudden she'll like feel Moss basically just like whip her up and further than meant to be, and she'll be in the air for a second, and that's all of a sudden where she kind of like sees the expanse out ahead of her, and like she'll feel really light for a second, like Jack just gave me a really good pep talk, and now I'm like higher than I've ever been, and then she's like, oh, I'm higher than I've ever been.
And Jack's pep talk ends in a woohoo as they get launched.
Um,
It's the best one yet, Moss.
I know I gave Moss spirit for facing his fears, but I'm gonna let Moss and Pip both take 2 skill points because you both had to deal with your fears.
Maybe those will come in handy with my 2 remaining shadow points.
Oh, you're closer than I am.
3 marked off, are
Um,
you okay?
and um, good things and bad things happen with Moss throwing you so far. You're about 20 feet from the edge of the cavern, the edge of the chasm that's on the other side. Um, but it also puts you right next to the wraith that was waiting for you at the top.
Same or a different wraith?
The same one.
Is there any chance that when I'm just hucked blindly into this area, I maybe like whacked it? just like limbs flailing, like, oh my god, I'm so high up, this is terrifying. Just like landed and just whoop.
Make me a body check.
Ooh. Oof. I
Target
don't like
number
that.
6.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. I am not rolling great today. I rolled a 1 and 2 2s.
Lonnie.
I'm sorry. I will switch. I'm
Hey,
putting these in
Lonnie
prison.
just wants to level up, guys.
For real.
I would love to
Absolutely.
level up because there's got to be a session 2 where all of a sudden Pip is like OP, you know?
You are
So mark
splitting
your
mountains with your
skill.
roots.
Wait, how many skills am I marking?
1.
Okay.
You mark 1 skill on a failure.
Yep.
And you're already afraid. Jack's pep talk did help, but looking at this wraith and seeing you miss it, and still kind of feeling that residual feeling of fear in your roots from the cave, it's not coming from the ground. The wraith just looks at you and lets out a scream. And you are afraid. And you cannot get closer to it.
So
As you fall about 20 feet away from the wraith. So it's like the wraith, 20 feet you, 20 feet the chasm behind you.
Okay. Am I marking physically the condition of afraid?
You are physically marking afraid.
Okay.
So
I just
my
cleared that.
corruption foul mirror, it says my shadow can fly.
Do you want to use your corruption again?
I think I do. I think
Actually, Pip, I want you to mark terrified.
I'm sorry?
You cannot move. You are like rooted in the ground in this moment.
so Jack's voice will get a little bit distant. He'll say, "It's okay, Pip. I think I can do it again." And he did it by accident the first time, but now he's kind of got a feel for it, and the blackness starts seeping into the whites of his eyes again as his shadow separates from itself. and the shadow cradles Bumble and flies towards the chasm.
Hey, I can sure, this is fun. I haven't flown in a while.
Just let it
Everyone
happen.
mark.
I just want to say that for this, I wanted to help you guys out, so I looked at the Pixies playbook. They can regrow their wings. They
Grand
can
old
give
time we're
somebody.
having.
I mean, well, no, they could.
This one's
They
just a
have an
slacker.
ability where they can give somebody else wings until the end of a scene, so they would only be temporary. But I was like, yeah, definitely goes with your shadow. We're gonna Moss. You see Jack's shadow once again. You can't really see Bumble, um, because they're too small. But as you look over, you see the wraith, and you see um Pip's bark stiffen, and their branches go still. What would you like to do?
Um, how close is the wraith to the chasm?
The wraith is about 40 feet from the chasm and about 40 feet from you.
Okay. I'm gonna
I
start
thought
running.
20, yeah, that's 40.
I'm gonna start running towards the wraith. But I'm gonna see if I can dip into one of my specialties, which is overcoming fears, to see if I can talk Pip down. Because
Absolutely.
we really need her right now.
Um, give me a charm roll for that. And I'm gonna say because you're using your specialty, add an extra die.
Hell yeah.
The target number is gonna be 5.
That's 2 5s and 2 1s again. Jesus. Oh no.
Mark a shadow.
Yeah.
You just one
Moss
away,
is
aren't
gonna
you?
be full corrupted.
I'm one away. So Moss is dashing at the wraith and is shouting at Pip. I know you're scared right now, but Jack really needs you to protect him. I believe in
Uh,
you, Pip.
I'm gonna let Pip. Your you feel your bark stiffen against your will. And you know that your friends need you. You are no longer terrified. I will allow you to just be afraid.
It's okay to be scared, Pip.
It's okay to be scared. But now you can move.
We're in my territory now. I'm not gonna let you fall.
She almost just like tries to say something, but she doesn't really know what, because she knows that she's still very, very high up. So even just naturally, like even if she didn't have the condition afraid, it would still right now she's still facing a fear. So she's just like, thank you. Uh and like just kind of stands up and just like stretches out her branches again, just to like feel like that stiffness be gone. And so Moss is going towards
Moss is charging the wraith right now.
charging the wraith.
Jack, what are you doing in this moment?
Jack's concentrating on sending the wraith with Bumble, or the shadow with Bumble, over the chasm so that Bumble can to leave.
Roll me a body check to try and get there. This is gonna be target number 6.
All right. Where did that go? There it is. I got 3 of them, so I'm gonna activate a trait called Void Defiant. I can spend a spirit to avoid taking the
Yes.
shadows.
Yes. Please use your spirit to not take on the void.
All right. Because I was
Uh,
2 away.
you guys are able to get just over the chasm.
And as he does, as like he's dipping deeper into the void, Pip can hear him saying like strange words she's never heard him say before. And it's like, I can't see you, Pip. I'm in the hospital again, I think. Then he kind of shakes it off, like he doesn't realize that he even said anything.
Pip. No. Moss.
Yes.
I need you to make me a mind check. Target number 6.
I have a 1 in 2 of my stats. I have a 1 in mind and a 1 in heart. That's a 5.
As you're charging the wraith, you feel your body make contact. And the darkness of the wraith encompasses you and takes control of your body. You don't stop running. Hip, it's your turn. Moss is running at you. Full bore, gonna totally body you off of the side of this mountain. And you saw the wraith go into him. What would you like to do?
Now's a good time to root in, I think.
But at the same time, if I root in, then Moss just runs full force at a stable tree.
Which will send a little boy flying off the top.
Get out of the way, get out of the way, get out of the way.
Did I not mention this is a horror game?
No, I thought it was a fantasy game. I was just...
It could be 2 things.
Wait, where are the eagles?
Fantasy,
There should be eagles
horror...
right now.
I grab an eagle, like, I find a giant eagle, I grab onto its claw, and I just pull it. Yeah, anyway. I fly the eagles to Mordor. I try to step out of the way of Moss charging me and start to extend one of my branches to kind of, like, grab them once they start, like, moving in that direction, kind of just to, like, kind of just to protect them from trying to, like, continue running further into the chasm or something like that. Like, just, like, I'm not taking the brunt of it, but just making sure that they also aren't, like, hurting themselves.
I'm going to paint a whole picture.
Okay.
Because as you take a step aside, his next target is Jack Shadow and Bumble, which is about 10 feet off of the ledge of the chasm. Like, they're hovering over the chasm in open space.
But they're flying?
Yes.
But Moss could
Shadow
still
is
get to
flying,
them.
and he's holding the...
If you want to try and stop Moss's trajectory, I will need a body roll. Or a heart roll if you want to use magic.
Okay, I want to use plant magic again to basically just stop Moss in their tracks. Like, use basically like a grapple with a bunch of vines to just stop their trajectory completely, not even have to run into me, not run into Bumble or Jack Shadow. Just, like, no matter how hard they're trying to run, they cannot move any further than where they are.
Target number 6.
Okay. Alright, okay.
Because you're trying to stop a big stone guy.
Ooh, 2 6s, a 4, and a 1. that's a bad thing and a good thing, right?
It is a bad thing and a good thing. You need to add 1 to your shadow track.
Okay, that's fine. I've taken the least amount of shadow of the group so far, so I can do that. I'm at 4 shadow total.
It's not even your branches, but out of the ground of this mountain, there's still plant life, and it just wraps and coils itself around Moss, and Moss can't move. Like some of the vines break as as his velocity slows, but more vines just cover him and stop him, and he stops just at the edge of the chasm.
Moss grows over the vines.
With moss flowing over the vines and onto the ground. But then next, Jack was able to get his shadow and over the chasm. And Bumble drops the leaf in. And you see it floating down. This is like bullet time, so it looks like it's going so slowly. Like you guys have been standing there minutes, days, hours as it falls. And then in a whoosh of fire, this phoenix comes out of the chasm, and whatever darkness was in the sky is gone. It burns away, and the sky is blue. What all of you will see and Moss will feel is that wraith. Moss would feel it like this wraith almost like withers and dies, like inside of you. And what everybody sees is the small parts of the void and the darkness just coming out of Moss. And Pip, what you can see, because you're not looking at the chasm, the trees start to bloom. Orange leaves, yellow leaves, red leaves, and the canopy starts to appear like it's on fire. But like the most beautiful fire a tree has ever seen.
I feel like she has this moment of bittersweet relief of knowing that the void couldn't save, like the void had basically ended the person that she cared about most, but at least no other woodkin and other trees had to feel that same fate in this moment. And just almost kind of like, if a tree could sit down, she basically kind of just like slumps back to sit down and just be like,
Jack, your shadow comes back to you with Bumble. And Bumble says, now that life has returned back to the forest and you guys helped chase the darkness away, the least I could do is reward you. And you see her pop out of existence. And then she pops back into existence. And she has this leaf. Vibrant reds, yellows, and oranges. And there's one for each of you. We don't have much, but
I'm
Jack
a bit
fashions it
tangled
right
up.
at the end.
I think as soon as that moment happens where Pip kind of like sits down, just relaxes, I'm sure that her magic falls and you're no longer tied up.
Good.
Concentration ended.
Alright.
Like,
Okay, yeah, this
Oh.
is a leaf.
Hey Pip, wasn't there supposed to be a phoenix or something?
you didn't see it?
No, no. I grabbed Bumble, and then she was handing me a leaf.
Here, wait. I can help with this. And Bumble lays a little hand in the middle of your chest. And what Jack sees is exactly what she saw hanging over the chasm of the phoenix rising out of the middle.
Oh, you're right, Pip. It is pretty.
So glad you got to see it too.
And Moss, when you get your leaf, you're like, you're probably your first instinct was probably to just add it to your moss and add it to your collection.
Yes.
But it doesn't, to you, it doesn't really feel, it does feel more mossy than like a leaf. And there's just a small whisper on the wind. Roll me a mind check to see if you can hear, just to see if you can hear what it says.
Yeah, she's figured out our dump stats now.
Hey, we haven't done a lot of mind. It's been a lot of body.
I had to resist the urge to build a mind-based character. I rolled a 4.
Okay, the target number was a 4.
Good.
You, as the breeze first hits you, you just hear a voice that says, "God, as the breeze pushes back toward Jack. Give me a mind check.
Okay, that's my dump stat too.
Hey, alright. Just a bunch of dummies.
Yeah. Well, I'm like 10 years old. I got a 4.
That was the target number. You also hear this distant, echoey voice on the wind that says, "It will never take me." And Pip, as you sit there, happy but a little disheartened, holding this leaf, you feel that same breeze that Moss and Jack just felt. Looking at the leaf, you just hear a, "Come find me." And that's where we're going to end our discussion.
Whoa!
What?
Oh my god!
What? Excuse me?
So many answers, but so many questions.
Excuse me?
I want to thank everybody for the raid and the follow, and my players for being amazing. If you like what we do, join our Discord. The button is down below. I should really have the actual outro up, but it's okay. Let's go around the table again. Everybody, tell us who you are, where we can find you, any projects you're working on, and I know Lonnie's gonna yell at me. But let's go. Let's start with Jason.
Hi, I'm Jason. I'm JJSYNN on Twitter. Graphical Ronin, most other places. I'm a freelance graphic designer and illustrator. So I like drawing pictures for people. And I love playing TTRPGs. TTRPGs. And I'm glad that Lost Caravan lets me have fun in their playground.
We love having you. It's a fun playground. JT.
What's up? I'm JT. I'm at WeebGeet on Twitter. I played Moss, the very stupid but very very loyal Stonekin tonight. You can find me faffing about on the Lost Caravan Discord. You can also find me this Sunday. We're playing Nova, run by Hoop. It is our second session in a short little mini series that we've generated. Nova's a lot of fun. I'm working on a couple of secret projects that I can't talk about yet, but maybe soon. Thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun. That's all. That's
love
all I
having you.
got. That's all she wrote.
I love having all of you. And last but certainly not least, Lonnie.
Yell at you. Okay. You did great. there's like the YouTube and like all that stuff, but like people know about that stuff, so it's fine. Hi, I'm Lonnie or Looney Shaws. I was playing Pip tonight, the very large but very afraid Woodkin. I did not realize how many times I was actually going to physically have to mark off being afraid, terrified, rattled, all those sorts of things. I figured that would just be like a general personality trait of like, I have to be anxious at all times to make sure I protect everybody. But, you know, whatever happens, happens. And I also am in Lost Caravan Discord whenever, most times, sometimes I'm just sitting there and having one of those days of like, I don't want any social media. Oh, but I try. So I will also be there. Also, thank you, Dido, for running this. This was really, really fun. This was so incredible. And I love playing with everybody at this table too, even though we were missing a few people, but like everyone is always really fantastic. So I had a great time. And thank you.
And once again, I am Dido. I was the guide for these great characters through Reverie. You can find me on Twitter at Dido11. I know for sure I will be in Vibe Check in March and Tales from the Loop. I get Loop and Flood mixed up. But I will also be running not this specific session, but I will be running Good Strong Hands at Gen Con from August, so this was a good prep.
I will say I did hear back today, and I am running a ICRPG Ghost Mountain One-shot on the 22nd on Lost Caravan.
Go!
I don't know who
We
my
love-
players are yet.
We love guest GMs. We love having new players.
The March call to arms just came out. I don't know why call to arms was the first thing that came to my head.
I
The
think
that's
one shot
what it is.
parade is what we call it normally, but call to arms, whatever.
mustering
That
of
just came out
Birdman.
too, so look out for that. Everyone sign up, especially now that we know that one of our fellow players is DMing. Amazing.
I prefer to call it Mischief Manager.
Mischief Manager.
Managed.
But thank you everybody who watched, everybody who's gonna watch on YouTube. Get on our Discord. There's a bunch of nerds. We talk about a lot of stuff. We are gonna raid the Lollygaggers. And
Woo!
have a good night. We heckin' love you. Be kind.